Today in the crypto space, we see the market looking pretty good. Bitcoin back above 67,000 and Ethereum above the $2,500 mark, nice and green. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins are also looking very strong. We have Uniswap, Rune, Pyth, and many others showing a little bit of strength here as we continue climbing upwards. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one project, one altcoin that did pop to the upside lately. However, guys, if we get a nice backtest or some sort of structure, we could see a continuation to the upside, and the project is called ALEPH.IM. So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunity, whether we go up or down, bearish, bullish, or it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the chat. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with this market, because we do see a bit of volatility here within the market cap. You can see right now we're slightly above the 2.4 trillion. We're up approximately 1%. However, guys, we're still a little bit lower than we were before. I get it. But do we continue to the upside? That's the bigger question, because we do see a bit of an increase in trading volume. However, in the short term, we've seen it roll over just a little bit. Now, when we came down last time with this dip and we came below the 2.4, we saw the trading volume actually decrease. But since we've been going up with market cap, we've seen the trading volume increase. That gives you the indication that generally speaking, the consensus throughout the market is that we are seeing some bullish volume. We're seeing volume, but when the market cap goes up is where people are interested. So market participation right now is giving us an indication that we are bullish. Okay, so I'm not saying that we're going to start breaking out here or anything, but I'm seeing that overall the market is looking to scale in, to basically, introduce more capital into the market. Bitcoin doing pretty good, obviously up 3% for today. Nice little V recovery on the lower time frames. We did classify a nice, descending type of structure that eventually broke out bullish, especially after identifying bullish divergence. And all that good stuff. So Bitcoin looking pretty good. Ethereum, not so much, not as good, although it did get a little bit of relief, but it's not looking as good, that's for sure. BNB, pretty much the same thing. I'm looking at structure. It did get a nice V recovery, but I'm expecting a little bit more. Solana right now is the man of the match. I know it's a slow grind to the upside. You can see 4.3% to the upside, and 8.7 in the last 7 days. Solana and its ecosystem right now is doing pretty good, showing a lot of strength. Now the question is this the beginning of a Solana Ethereum flip? Is basically Solana trying to, get up to the higher levels to get to a $300 billion market cap? It's very possible that this happens. And we kind of need to see basically capital outflow from Ethereum into Solana if Solana is going to be our leading indicator for an altcoin season. So this is super, super important, because if that's the case, we can see some major moves in the next little while for Solana. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Obviously, the Solana narrative is a hot narrative, and especially as we've been seeing a nice grind to the upside, it could definitely be a lot more, give us a lot more strength in days to come. What else do we have here? Sideways. Tron looking good. Remember, Tron is a good indication of stablecoin, volatility or stablecoin transactions. This is important. USDT. Cardano coming down. AVAX looking a little strong again with that sharp recovery, but nothing major just yet. Are we going to be getting a stronger pivot point structure on lower time frames so that we can feel confident that the market is recuperating? Maybe we see Uniswap looking okay, but that double top not looking the best. If Bitcoin takes a bit of a hit, I'm expecting Uniswap to come down a little bit harder than expected, given the fact that it's double topping that way on the hourly. And as we keep on going down, guys, it's very clear that the market in the short term is in a downtrend. Okay, Pepe, and the list goes on. Even Tau, we got FET, we got many projects, even Caspa, although it has been showing a bit of strength. You can see how these tops and, could come out to be a head and shoulders formation, which is not a good look. We have a very clear bottom, horizontal bottom, and that, that horizontal definitely can be some sort of break. If we do break below the horizontal of that support on those bottoms, Caspa could be coming back down. And we're all looking at Bitcoin right now because we know how influential Bitcoin can be on the market, especially when it's very volatile. So that's that for Caspa. I'm concerned, obviously, because Caspa, it looks like it was gearing up for another move to the upside, because when the market goes stagnant, Caspa does its own thing. It has almost like a mind of its own. Filecoin looking okay, but you can see nothing major has been happening just yet. Lower time frames does suggest maybe a bigger bounce, but generally speaking, nothing is happening. Thorchain, different story, up 6.8% for the day. Up 11% in the last 7 days, so pretty good and slow grind to the upside. There's some bullish news with regards to Thorchain. And if you've been following, the reality is Thorchain now is well integrated into the capabilities of Ledger, which allows you to swap right on Thorchain natively right into using the Ledger, which is great, which is awesome utility going forward. BitGet still showing strength, Popcat looking good, few dips. Jupiter, of course, part of the Sol narrative, could definitely continue to the upside. Pith as well, part of the Sol narrative. Celestia looking great. I'm thinking of building margin positions on Celestia. I want to build one on AVAX. I want to build one on so many, but I'm curious as to when we're going to be showing real signals of a bottom. Another project that I'm keeping an eye on is Mantra. Is Mantra going to come down further, guys? I know it's been dipping a little bit. It's down 12.7%. But reality is, if you look at this current structure, I want more. I want more of a dip before I'm interested, because I know ultimately I can see that if it does dip below its diagonal support line, its trend line, we could come down a lot harder here on Mantra. Okay, so despite what people say there, when you do see the price, really overextended, just expect pullbacks, guys, because those pullbacks are meant to be bought. As we continue going down, guys, we see some good price action. Beam looking good. And many others. We see many others. Some of the Ethereum projects like Polygon and many others are not looking the greatest, but we have to keep in mind that at the end of the day, right now we're waiting for a catalyst to see this altcoin season, and which project is it going to be, right? Ultimately, right now, it's either maybe Solana, is BNB capable of doing it, or Ethereum itself, is it going to get a wake-up call and finally lead us to the upside? All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts, so let's begin. Let's take a look at Bitcoin, and then we'll take a look at the ALEPH project, the ALEPH, TA. But ultimately, right now, what we do see here is that Bitcoin is hesitant. And as I mentioned yesterday, I mentioned the fact that I was really interested in seeing what Bitcoin does around this level, because I need confirmations. And guess what, guys? We're getting a bit of data here. So let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. Ultimately, guys, being very patient is key. Patience is key in this space. And I always wait for a bit of confirmation. One touch is not enough for the most part. Sometimes it is, but not at critical levels. At critical levels, because this is a critical level of resistance, right? And ultimately, I would like a little bit more data. And you can see that the market got that bounce exactly where I expected it to, right around this level, 66,000 more or less. And you can see we wicked and got a nice bounce. Now, the good news here is, if you're a bull, is that if we close a daily candle like this, which is, going to close in about 4.5 hours, if we close the daily candle like this, it's a bullish engulfing candle. And with this, coupled with this wick, it's starting to look really healthy for continuation to the upside. And I'm expecting the market to take it as a signal for a massive run. And if that's the case, guys, guess what? I'm lucky that I didn't turn bearish into this level. However, if we start making lower highs here and we start coming down again, and all we did is on lower time frames get a confirmation high, a lower high, then it means that we're getting follow through to the downside, because a lower high and then coming down for a lower low, we're getting a short-term trend to the downside on, let's say, the 4-hour. And then the 4-hour can turn into a bigger dip where we come down to about 60,000, testing horizontal levels where we start hunting liquidities at at bottoms again. So this is the biggest issue, is right now we're still very critical. So being neutral and calm collected is super important right now, because Bitcoin is going to be playing games, in my opinion. And you don't want to be caught up in those emotional games that Bitcoin plays, because that's where a lot of people lose a lot of capital. Okay, so that's my mentality at the current moment. I'm still hunting for good opportunities across the market. And today I'm going to be talking about ALEPH.IM, ALEPH.IM, because ultimately it looks pretty good on that pump. Let's take a look here. You can see that it pumped out great. And just because it pumped, it doesn't mean this is the only reason why I'm talking about it. I think it's a good learning experience, because I'm seeing that there's a lot of newcomers into the space. And I also see that this chart needs updating. Why? Because we left the station a little bit here, guys. So we can see that the weak spot that we identified in the past is no longer a weak spot. Why? Because the price action down here filled up the weak spot, which is the volume gap. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I mean. Let me show you the volume gap. Let's update the volume gap scenario. This is now the area of interest for me. This is the weak spot, which is, you can see the price action is currently taking full advantage of that weak spot. You know, prices went right through it and also coming right back down to it. And it could be that we come down a little bit more. The thing is that I would like to see structure. Now, what structure do we have in the past that we could use? There's a little bit. There's actually quite a bit of interesting structure. An ascending triangle. Guys, there's some projects out there that are creating these ascending triangles at the current moment. Keep an eye out there, because these ascending triangles like this one tend to want to break out bullish. And I did mention one on the live stream yesterday, so feel free to go check that one out. Better yet, join me live tonight. We can take a look at a lot of requests that you may have, or any projects that you may have. We'll definitely take a look for some good setups. At the current moment, we see that this thing broke out of an ascending triangular formation, very close, or pretty much at the apex, 70% towards the apex. It blew above the 200 daily. Now that we'd identified this structure, we identified the weak spot in the chart. You know, it's very likely that we come down to this level and kind of test this zone. You know, test the zone. Let's get a structure under here. Inverse head and shoulders, cup and handle, Adam and Eve pattern, W formation. Give me something, right? Or else really what you're doing is taking a lot of risk. You're taking a lot of risk, because it could even come back down. It could even get back into this structure and come down to lower levels. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying, without some data, without some bottoms, without anything here, that we're going to be respecting the previous tops, the previous resistance as now support, and including the 200 daily, which is this orange line. The 200 daily EMA is a very good indication of trend. The fact that we blew right above it and we can backtest around this area gives us the confirmation, more or less, that we are now trending to the upside instead of trending to the downside. And if you look at previous price action, making many lower lows and lower highs, all of a sudden, guess what, guys? We're making higher highs and higher lows, and ultimately we got a nice expansion that we're really hoping that ultimately we create some sort of, you know, structure where we can put a stop loss into here. Maybe the structure is, like I mentioned, a nice pivot point structure for a continuation to the upside when we start moving. Okay, so this is what I look for. This is what interests me, is to try to find bottoms where I can build a position over time and take risk at the bottom rather than the top. The issue right now is that we kind of moved up, and it is kind of topish, right? I get it. So this is what I would do here, guys. I would be waiting for structure. Again, wait for the structure, or else I would be waiting for some support right around this level, about 20 cents, because we have a lot of confluence. Again, tops and 200 dailies and bottom of volume gaps. Okay, so this is what I'm really looking forward to. If you haven't bought the dips right around this level, this is the zone were to buy dips, about 14 cents. This was the level. Obviously down here, if you got in really early, congrats. But really, this level right here was the next best level at those bottoms, at critical levels, and all of a sudden a nice bounce to the upside. Now, if you get into lower time frames, you can see that ultimately this thing is definitely retracing to the downside. Let's take a look at momentum. You can see the momentum shifting downwards, making lower lows and lower highs right into here. Was there any divergence? Right into here, we got a bit of divergence. We're making higher highs, and then a little bit of a double top, very overbought, and then dip. So the question is, do we have enough strength from the bears on the 4 hour to see the momentum get into an oversold state again, as it did right here? And if that's the case, we can see this red expansion. We can see it come down a little bit more. And I don't expect it to be too deep because I am seeing a bit of bullish strength right here. Look at the green expansions. I don't think they're done. I think that we're going to get another major green expansion eventually. And right now, all we're doing is entertaining a bearish response after a huge rally to the upside from this. That's expected, guys. People take profit. What do you expect? People are not to take profit? Of course, they're going to be taking profit after a jump like that. And if you look at the momentum of the trend oscillator is still facing down with red histogram bars. So I'm not totally convinced that this whole trend on the 4 hour is done. But big picture, guys, big picture, the daily is looking good. So I would be waiting for some structure support because really we're still overbought here. We're still overbought. You can see that the momentum is trending to the upside. You can see that very clearly. Do we go for one more impulse? Once the momentum of the volatility, the orange line is oversold, we start longing the orange line to the upside. And in that case, maybe we get the purple line for another extreme overbought state. And the EMAs on the trend oscillator are facing up with green histogram bars still. There is no EMA cross. There is no red histogram bar. So it suggests that we could get one more impulsive move. However, guys, just understand that the majority of the move is already in my opinion. Until we build structure or something here so that we can clearly put in a setup with a very healthy risk management strategy, just anticipate that, yeah, any pop to the upside is considered a trade. Get in, get out. It's not a long-term hold, right? If you're going to go into a long-term hold, that's a different story. What you have to do is anticipate that we could come down a lot harder and that your position might get into a bit of negative. And if it's going to be a longer-term hold, guys, low leverage on margin or spot trade only, okay? Because really it already made its major move, okay? So ALEPH.IM is looking good, but the majority of the move is in. Let's wait for a continuation to the upside and getting into price discovery where the magic happens. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor, slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord, guys. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. See you tonight at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Have a good one, take care, and don't forget, buy the dip.